Hello ladies and gentlemen. Previously on this channel, I covered the most ridiculous currency war strategies. It's surprisingly the most popular video on this channel, despite the script being thrown together in a blender for 2 hours. Ever since that video though, Currency Wars has been sort of receptive to the idea of how absurd it can get. It's almost like it's actually asking you to break it. Every new update brings in new investment strategies that are cheeky references to the lore, or simply plain ridiculous that rivals that of human trafficking. In fact, they recreated an even easier version of human trafficking with Silverwolf 999. Thanks Hoyoverse for your continued support on this strategy. So instead of the classic Albert or the 3-star sirens of this mode, let's look at the 5 most absurd new investments in the new Currency Wars updates. The first strategy is the infamous Herta era. If you have no idea what this looks like, let me give you a quick, unedited demonstration. I hope that was enough to get your attention. So how this strategy works is that it gives you a big Herta off the bat and 216 little Hertas in the shop. This allows you to go way beyond 3-starring little Herta, where you normally wouldn't be able to. For each 1 gold you've spent on the little Hertas in your party and the preparation area, when Herta spins get triggered at all, it will add 1 more spin. In my example here, there's 72 gold from all of these baby Hertas, meaning there's more than 72 spins when Herta does her enhanced skill. And because any Herta spin is buffed by this, the normal Herta spin that triggers when dropping HP is buffed by the same amount. If I were to trigger both the Herta's E skill spins and Mini Herta's HP based spins, this results to roughly 144 spins in 1 turn. Of course, let's also not forget the fact that because there is 216 Hertas in the shop, you have a 4-star little Herta stat line in the party. And every time you get a 3-star small Herta, you get a 1-star big Herta. And every little Herta you have gives you on-field and off-field strength for your big Herta. So in this run, not only is there 72 little Herta spins, this is also a 3-star big Herta, packed with 720% on-field strength just because of this investment alone. Yeah, you can probably see why this would be a 99% instant win strategy. The only things that stop this Herta nonsense are encounters that hit way too hard, certain enemy affixes like, I don't know, energy deprivation, or you get impossibly unlucky very early. But you can plan for that with Hyacinth and Fushuan pretty easily, making this just a no-brainer to pick. This is a must-pick in any Currency Wars run, to be honest. You have to experience this at least once. The second strategy is a flash. This is a direct reference to the animated short and the relationship with Jing Liu and Jing Yuan. There's actually 2 variations of a flash, but we're only gonna go with the first one because it's the funniest. After you get the strategy, you get 1 Jing Liu, and Jing Yuan gets demoted into the lowest rarity, which is a 1 cost. When Jing Liu gets to 2 stars, Jing Yuan is promoted to a blue rarity and keeps his star rating. When Jing Liu becomes a 3-star, Jing Yuan is promoted to his normal 5 cost rarity, and again he keeps his star rating. So basically, the entire strategy boils down to trying to get Jing Yuan to 3-star first before Jing Liu, and you are rewarded with a 3-star 5 cost unit. If you remember what maxing out a 5-star does, it basically means you win the game, and this is no exception. Jing Yuan will tear through your entire field if you play this correctly. This is a pretty difficult bond to make use of. It involves really looking at how levels manipulate the shop rarity, and of course just a tad bit of luck to make this work. The next strategy, I am Luocha. Remember that weird quest where March 7th was LARPing as Luocha? Yeah, they made an entire Currency War strategy out of it. It's far more hilarious because the gameplay footage is literally beating the enemy to death with the power of Catholicism. The strategy is pretty clear cut. You get a March 7th and she transforms into Luocha during battles. March then quote-unquote heals the enemy based on her off-field strength. The base damage of this is surprisingly high, making her a very competent DPS. Assuming you can get enough off-field strength, this strategy is incredibly destructive. Give March a pair of anti-gravity boots, and watch as she LARPs as a doctor and causes medical accidents around the world. Oh yeah, I forgot. Remember how Luocha would have an emergency heal when you reach low HP? Well, if the enemy hits 50% HP, March will trigger an emergency quote-unquote heal and automatically baptize the enemies. Oh, also, it has an added instance of damage which deals true damage based on enemy HP, so yeah, this scales off the enemy's HP. The only thing left for this strategy is to not die on field and to get all the good items for this to work. It is not exactly an instant win strategy as much as the Herta one, since equipment is layered in a lot of RNG and it's very reliant here, but you know, it's still very funny. Next, Furbo's Morning. Have you ever thought what it's like to be Nihilux? You know, you have a lazy eye, you're a degenerate manga artist, and you have a black company in which legally distinct animals, not to be confused with the Japanese tanuki, are constantly exploited for their work for fear of being sent back to the gulag? Yeah, me neither. But there's a way you can do it in Currency Wars. This strategy involves getting the entire gang of Furbos, all 7 of them, to join the squad. After each node, you gain 2 random emblems equipped on a random Furbo. The end result looks like this. While this might sound pretty cool at first, and yeah, it is pretty cool, I found out the hard way that this strategy basically limits you to a party size of 6 because the Furbos take 7 slots. So unless you're the Express who are capped at 6 for their bond, good luck, I guess. You also have to note that some of these Furbos are absolutely worse. There's one that auto-buys things in the shop for you and doesn't allow you to play manually in battle. I kinda hate him. So it's not an instant win obviously, but it's really funny to look at. Now for the last strategy, I call this plot armor. You probably clicked the video expecting that I cover the concept of sacrificing children, or even your grandma for your Currency Wars run. Well, let me explain how you can do it. And for the federal agencies and YouTube terms of service that's wiretap my every move, this can only be done in-game, and I do not condone this in real life. This is satire. This investment strategy is one of the only ways to get the Holy Grail of Destiny emblem. The emblem itself isn't that interesting though. What is interesting is the effect. If you are unable to perfect clear a node, it will consider that you did a perfect clear, and then sells the character equipping the Holy Grail emblem. This can happen up to 3 times. Yup, you're basically able to cheat your way through 3 unwinnable situations for the very small price of sacrificing a unit that wears the emblem. This is plot armor. In a live stream, I was literally 1 node away from losing until this showed up and saved my run. Watch as I win a very hard level 180 encounter node for the price of my 3 children, and watch as I win against Nikador despite not actually killing him for the price of my grandma. This is the only strategy of this type where you can literally just lie that you won a run, bury the evidence of a lost family member, and get away without any consequences. Just like Walter White. I'd say it's pretty useful, you know. Please do not lie to the authorities if you actually do this in real life. That's all. A shorter video for this one, but I hope it's entertaining nonetheless. Like, share, do the algorithm stuff, and I'll see you all. Please share your investment strategies in the comment section below, if you have any ones that you think are much funnier than what I've presented here. Anyway, bye bye!